Welcome back, my people. I'm excited to continue this lesson about object making using scripting. And today we are going to work on what I call the grommet. Welcome, sit down, enjoy the lesson. Let's get started. From last time, we did the desk drawers, and today I want us to concentrate on what I call the wire management. Wire management is what we have on our desks. As you can see, most of you I'm sure have seen this item. You can see this. This is what we call wire management. The wires pass through this black thing here and get into your either CPU or through the monitor, and also for the power. And exactly what you are drawing is this, and it's called a grommet. Now, when you are doing the grommet, there are two methods that we can use. One, we have the prism method, where, as I've already shown you, let me open the syntax. Let me come to open object, and you can see this is what we've been doing. Then we come to 3D. While you're here, you can see that we've been using code to make this desk. And as I've already told you, you can use prism. So this is the syntax for the prism. And for us to do the first method, we'll need to continue with this prism method. That means after the -1, we'll add a few code so that you can be able to make the hole and also make the grommet itself. The other method is what we call the cut method. This is where you have two objects. One becomes the cutting object, and the other one is the object to be cut. And under that, I'll be teaching you what we call groups. Groups are great for doing this work. Otherwise, normally when you have an object like this, and that is, I'm talking about the second method, what you normally use in the normal way of doing things, you right click to connect and then solid elements. And under solid elements, you can see we have add operator. The operation can be subtraction, intersection, and addition. But I'll show you a cool method of doing this. It's easy, very, very easy. So let's start with the first method. And first of all, I'll create the holes. Let's get started. Now come to the main desk here, and remember our grommets are on top. As you can see from my plan here, this is the plan of the desk, and we expect to have a grommet around this area. And this grommet will be defined by offsets from the edges so that you can get the center point of this. So let's first start by creating these parameters. The 130, you can call it grommet offset X. So come here, go to parameters. So we need to add more here. Right, grommet offset X. You can write here grommet offset from edge in X position. And we've seen that is 130. We make another one. Sorry, it should be carried up here. Always make this working. We do another one. Grommet offset Y. Can copy this. And this is now Y position. I think I've seen 190. So we have those two. Then we need to know the diameter or the radius of this circle of ours. I've done a diameter of 70. Yes. So again, come here, do grommet diameter. Sorry. Do grommet diameter. Remember I said these parameters need to be recognizable even after 1 year. So right here, 70. We go back to our 3D face. We look for the top view, desktop, which is here. So normally what we need to do is to add two codes when you're using the prism method. The first point will be defining our center point for the circle. And the center point of a circle, instead of finishing with a status value of 15, we do a value of 900 plus 15. The 900 is the one that does make the center. So again, come here. You can see on our X position, we've had to draw some imaginary lines here for our Cartesian graph. The center point is 0. We said this is A, this is B. So towards the left, it's negative A, towards the other side is positive A, and B towards the lower side is negative and positive to the top. So at this point, we will be having our A, which is half. Remember, this is half of A, this side. It's negative A divided by 2 plus the 130. So come back here and you write minus A divided by 2 plus, let's get the code, 130, copy, write. Then the B value, it's the top side, it's therefore B minus 2 minus, it's B minus 2 minus the 190. So copy this, 190, and then you write a value of 900. You can either do 915 or 900 plus 15, comma. The second point, we will define now the circle itself, the hole, the cut hole. And this is given by 3 points. One is the radius of the circle, the degrees to which you want to cut, and the rust status value of 4000, which does cut the hole. We'll come here, we do the grommet diameter, divide by 2 because we need the radius, divide by 2. Remember, this is a 360-degree circle. So do 360 and then 4000 plus the status of 15. And whenever you're finishing, you don't do the comma. Let's check whether we have an error. Yes, we do, because we haven't added the points. We've added 2 points, this and this. We had 5, and we've added 2. So come here, add 2, and check it out. And as sure as we can say, we already have our circle. That's method number 1. I want to do another grommet on the other side, and this is now involving. Now, the other method is using groups. So what I'll do, I'll involve 2 groups. One group is the circle. I'll make a cylinder with the sizes for the circle, and then we can involve our desktop as the other group. So let's start here. I'll create another subgroup. Let me copy here. You can call it desktop cutter. Give this one to a number of 110. We don't have number 110. Don't forget the return. Come up here, copy and paste it. You must show it here for it to be shown. So do 110 desktop cutter. Okay, come here. What I'll do is that I'll create a cylinder, and in order to get the right sizes for the cylinder, I'll first need the center point again. How do you get the center point? The first center point is, remember our desk. Let me write for you people so that you can see. The A carries our X. So whenever I need to get to this point here, I'll need to add values towards the X value. So come here, I'll say add X negative. In fact, as we did up here, you can just do this, copy this. The B is our Y. So again, come say add Y, copy this. Remove the comma, and now make your cylinder. Cylinder you can make by writing CYRND. It requires first the height. the height, let's assume, let's just take a size here, modesty, that will be the height, and then it requires a radius, and the radius is this one. And then remember we have not added the height, so we also need to add z. You can take the whole of the desk height, zzz minus, can even do half of the modesty, half of that. And then remember, any transformation that you do needs to be deleted. So we have how many adds? Add x, add y, add z, 3. So delete 3. And then can come here. Sorry, if I confuse you, I said we are doing this to the right. So all we need is to reverse this because it's on the other side. Minus b is okay. And you can see it here. This is it. You can see it's even protruding down there. And there's one beauty that comes with cutting using this method. Now, if we give this cylinder a color, when you are doing the cutting, that hole will come up with that color. I can do an example here. Let's do new, write grommet matte. Grommet material, and let me choose a metal so that you can see well. Metal iron, pick this one, go to 3D, write it inside here. So write material, copy, and you can see that's the material. Now we go to the best part that I love. We've already have the desktop and we have our cutter. We still need to create another Go sub, so select this and say final desktop. Make sure you return this and let's give it number 120. Come up here and finish, write it here 120 and write final desk. We are using a method called grouping. So what I'll do, I'll create two groups, one group for the desktop and another group for the desk cutter. This is the way you write it. You write group into apostrophes, write, can give it any name, but anything that reads desktop. And then we need to relate this with the Go sub that we did. The desktop is under 100. You can even copy it from here. Copy this. And any group that you make, always end it. Add group. And group. Create another group. Call this desktop cutter. Desktop cutter. Now we do another group for the desktop, and that is group desktop cutter, and associate it with the Go sub that you've created, and that is 110. So come here, copy the 110, and always end these groups. Now the exciting part is here. After you've done the two groups, you now need to merge or subtract one item from the other. And we have three things as I showed you from the other side. We can either intersect, we can combine them, or subtract. For us, we are using subtraction. And subtraction, we use what we call subgroup. So normally what we do is give yourself a name that you call this final product. I want to call it final desk is equals to subgroup into brackets. Then this is our target, the desktop is our target, and the cutter is the main thing that will do the chopping. After you are done with that, if you try to check whether you can see that tool right now, you can't because you haven't given the computer instructions to show it. We use the command press group. This is the group that you've created, and just copy it here. And for reuse of this final desk, the last command that we give is kill group. And as simple as that, our desktop has been made. Now, if you realize, this subgroup 120 carries everything. It carries the desktop, it carries the desktop cutter. So I can now eliminate group 110 and group 100. So when you come up here, even if I commented this and this, you still be able, sorry, you haven't checked whether there's a problem. Missing call key, oh sorry, and group. I hope that's the only one. We are good. Come here, and for sure you can see. Do you see what I was telling you about? The whole has come with the color of our cutter. This one has the same as the desk. So those are the two methods. Let's create the grommet. Grommet will use another subgroup. So let me, after the 120, let me copy the 120. I can write here grommet. This now will be number 130 and return. Now, the same code that used when making the grommet, the hole under the prism, is the same code that will help us to make this grommet. So they were these two items. Just copy, come here. Again, we're using the prism underscore. We only have two items, and let me first paste this. We have not defined the height of our grommet. Let me come here. Grommet height. It's normally not big, very small item. Let's give it a 10. Copy this. We have prism underscore two items or two parameters, and then give it that height, comma. Then this will be defined at the top level. So again, give it height, and remember z gives height. So add z. You need to get the total height, the zz yzx minus the grommet height. You can allow it to protrude just a bit by dividing this into two. So once that is done, you'll have to delete the transformation of add z. So delete 1. You can check whether you have a problem, it's correct. And then define 130 here. Pick this 130, give it grommet. My people, tell me, just tell me. Here it is. We can even make it complicated. It's only that for starters I wanted to make for you easy. You know, this has very sharp edges. You can always make it using curves. When you use curves, we use what we call a H prism. And I would want you to test that one first from your reading, then I'll show you later. Once this is done, let's do it for the other side. Grommet. I'll just copy what I've done for the grommet. So come here, copy, paste below here. We now need the reverse of this. That's it, and we are done. You can see our two grommets are already on that desk. Now let's do the small hole that we have there. Again, we'll do the same procedure like we did with cutting the grommet. I'll copy this and say grommet cutter, and give it number 140 with a return. You can see from our drawing it's something rounded, and to make something rounded I'll make it very simple for us. I'll use a sphere. A sphere is more like a ball. Stretch it a bit so that it gives us that shape. So come here, let's create a sphere. Call it a grommet. Grommet sphere. Give it a diameter. Copy, copy. Grommet sphere diameter. I want to give it a diameter of 20. We'll see it later. Take these ones to make them available. Come here, copy, and then you come here. Again, I'll use groups. So create group, call this grom sphere. And now we create the sphere itself. So sphere. The sphere only needs the diameter, so radius, so divide this by 2. End group, always end group. After this, we'll do what we call sweeping. We'll sweep this group from a sphere, stretch it to give it some length in between. And what you normally do, you have to write the keyword press group. Press group is what helps us to see it on our screen. So press group, write the keyword sweep group into brackets. The first thing that we need is the group that you're stretching. Don't forget to copy the apostrophes. Then you ask yourself, are you stretching it to what side? Is it the X value, the Y value, or the Z value? For us, we are stretching it towards the X direction. How long do you want us to stretch? We can just give ourselves a guesswork here. Let's do it the grommet diameter. So come here. The first value is the X, 0 for Y, 0 for Z. And as of now, we've done it. Now, again, we have to make sure this is at the right position. The right position, we can copy something we did up here. Sorry, see it's here. I need all these heights. Copy, and where is it? Number 140. Paste it here. And then delete the transformations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so 3. Delete 3. Let's copy number 140. Copy 140. This is the grommet cutter. Let's see whether you can see it. In fact, you can see it, it's here, but way below there. So let's add the X value and 140. Sorry, let's check on the Z value. So let me remove this. In fact, you can see it. It has come to the top. It must touch every part. In fact, it's in the right position because we only need it to touch our grommet. We can see it down here and we can see it at the top, but we need to move it a bit to the right. So again, that affects X. So let's do grommet divide by 2. See, oh, that's too far. Let's do 1.1. Perfect. That will be okay with me. I need to reduce the height. So that's okay with me. We are done. Now we remember this is our grommet cutter. We already have the grommet up here. We need to do the final grommet. So copy this. Again, make another subroutine. That's number 150. Return. We can even copy all this. So let's call it, this one will be grommet. This is number 130. This is grommet cutter. This is number 140. So change this, change this, change this, and then final grommet. Just copy this, copy this, copy this, and adjust this. Final grommet. Our final grommet comprises of everything. It has the grommet itself, the grommet cutter, all subgrouped together to cut and make what we call our final grommet. If I comment out number 140 and number 130, I'm good to go. So number 130, comment. Can even delete now. They don't make sense to us. Let's make go sub 150 and write final grommet. My people, you see, you can see for yourselves. I know now you can be able to do the other one. Maybe the only change I need to do is to bring this grommet a bit down. It's too high. Let's go to the grommet. This is the grommet height. Let me divide by 3. I see how far it goes. No, we need to go down towards 2. Let's give it 1.5. That's better. So you can see I've already created my grommet, and you can also do it from the other side. Thanks a lot, my guys. Keep subscribing to my channel for more knowledge. More and more is coming. I want to make this year very informative for all students and all those who are working. In fact, you can make a career out of creating objects. I've already started my own. I am setting my objects, and it's something great. Thanks a lot. To enjoy your evening. See you next time. Bye bye.